Good evening, I'm Brian Abel. Election Day 2022 is here. Voters across the state and country making sure their voices are heard. Check out this view from Chopper 7. We do have some big voter turnout among college students at the University of Michigan. Long lines forming on State Street in Ann Arbor. Voters from all over Metro Detroit getting out to vote, and you still have about 3 hours to cast your ballot. Michigan families tonight choosing who will be governor. Incumbent Governor Gretchen Whitmer in Lansing earlier today, as well as Detroit. Her challenger, Republican nominee Tudor Dixon, casting her ballot in Norton Shores today with her daughters. She is the first female GOP gubernatorial nominee in Michigan. We have team coverage for you, taking a look at voter turnout, the big races, and what voters need to know before the polls close. Let's begin with my Action News at 5 partner Glenda Lewis, who is live at Huntington Place in Detroit to kick things off for us. Glenda?
And good afternoon to you, Brian. You just missed the round of applause among workers because 63,000 plus votes have already been tabulated, those absentees. So they're working really hard and they're working swiftly. But the changes between this year and 2020 are obvious and almost immediate. I mean, for one, we're on a second floor here. 2020, it was the ground floor level where some of those window scenes you saw played out and people had the access to walk right up. Not so. We're on the second floor up here. Also, there have been some challengers. It's been quite calm, so nothing out of the ordinary there. Just some challenges to a few things that were handled swiftly. And the presence of DPD, Detroit Police, it is welcome and it is obvious. And coming up, we're going to be speaking to a deputy chief about their presence here and how it's made a difference and what they are tasked to do throughout the evening. But so far, all across Metro Detroit, Election Day has been running pretty smoothly. And we are proud to report that. My 7 Action News colleague, Heather Catallo, has been monitoring the polls all day. She joins us now from Detroit's east side with what you're finding, Heather.
Yes, Glenda, it has been fairly quiet, which is a relief, certainly. A few issues here and there, though. There were some computer problems like the ones precinct earlier this morning, causing some people to either have to wait or come back to vote, but only affecting a handful of voters. Detroiters lined up today to vote at the precincts inside Moses Field Elementary School.
I went in there, I probably was in there about 15, 16 minutes at the most. And the ladies is real nice and gave me my sticker. I voted.
By midday, things were running smoothly. But earlier this morning, some complained they did not get to vote.
Vote. Let them vote.
Officials from Precinct 133 told us their computer was not working when the polls opened at 7 a.m. Voter Angela Smith told us by phone that some were told they'd been issued absentee ballots, so the poll workers said they could not vote until it was sorted out.
We asked that everyone be patient. Well, many people left because they had to get to work. So myself and many others had to walk away and not vote this morning.
Smith plans to return tonight to cast her ballot, but says she's frustrated. Do you feel like this is disenfranchising people?
Absolutely. And not to mention those that may go back after work or after hours and the lines may be too long and they're discouraged for that reason. So it absolutely is a disservice to the city of Detroit.
Across Metro Detroit, computer issues and absentee ballot confusion caused some delays, but overall it was a calm election day. The U.S. Department of Justice sent monitors to precincts in Southfield, Detroit, and 3 other Michigan cities to make sure all laws were followed.
The Department of Justice has always protected the integrity of the election. And so we're making sure that the public feels confident about the efforts that we're putting in to make sure that people can vote and that they can do it free of any intimidation or any threat.
Now, I've been talking to poll watchers from Dearborn to Shelby Township, all across Metro Detroit today. Again, mostly hearing about very minor issues, usually dealing with equipment. There are a lot of poll watchers who were prepared to deal with voter intimidation, but so far that's really not being observed so far this year. If you're having any issues, of course, we do want to hear from you. Let us know about them. We will, of course, check them out. Reporting live on Detroit's east side, I'm Heather Catallo, 7 Action News. Now I'm going to toss it back to Glenda Lewis and my fellow investigator Ross Jones at Huntington Place for a look at how things are shaping up this year compared to 2020.
All right, Heather, and thank you for your coverage on the East Side. 7 investigator Ross Jones was here in 2020. Some obvious differences right away, Ross, that we were talking about. Some of our infamous scenes that have played out around the country. So what are you seeing?
Well, the biggest difference right now, Glenda, is where we are.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we were actually in a room below where we are here in Huntington Place. That's where we saw those iconic scenes of the people pounding on the glass. There is no glass. They did not want to repeat that this year, but those who were Republican voters and supporters who came out when there were false claims made on social media that ballots were being dumped here at Huntington Place, that there was voters being disenfranchised. That wasn't true, but they came down here nonetheless. They have done their best with tighter security, as you mentioned earlier, and some other measures to make sure we don't repeat those scenes again. The only people who are allowed in the room where we are people who have been approved. They include poll challengers who are here for both parties, Democrats and Republicans. They have very specific rules for what they can and cannot do. Earlier today, we spoke with someone about exactly what those rules are.
Poll challengers are allowed to be on site, both at precincts out around the city and around the state, and where votes are being counted. It's perfectly okay, as long as challengers are following the law and respecting the way things are supposed to work, and also that people aren't just showing up trying to be poll challengers, even when those rules have been set.
And behind us are 1,200 election workers working very hard. They've been here since 7 o'clock this morning. They will be here till well past midnight. They think they're going to have all the ballots counted, at least they hope, by about 4 o'clock in the morning. We'll see.
Yeah, and it feels like a well-oiled machine, really.
Absolutely. No, everybody's been doing a great job. Everybody working very hard here. They just announced about 62,000 votes counted so far about 20 minutes ago. That's a good clip, but they got a lot more to come.
All right, Ross, thank you. We'll be out here together this evening.
Yes, we will.
Appreciate your coverage. Okay. And Brian, that's all from Huntington Place right now. We'll see you again in the next half hour. Back to you.